Generations Reassuring by Tarek Alhabib. Parents' understanding of the characteristics of childhood is the first step in understanding and solving the problems that their children suffer from. Familiarity with these characteristics makes it easier for the educators to explain and justify the children's behaviors, and therefore they can deal with these problems without anger, haste, or punishment. One of the most important characteristics of childhood is the tendency to play and be active. Some parents may see this tendency as a random and useless activity, but for the child, it's the basis of life in which he vents out his needs and desires, and he sometimes uses it to send his messages that he's unable to reveal in a direct way. Stubbornness is also one of these characteristics, as the child is stubborn while making his requests, as he doesn't want to insist on making mistakes, but he aims to get the winnings and enhance his self-confidence. Also, children tend to imitate their behavior without vetting, as they imitate adults in the way of their speaking and emotions in order to enhance their status and demonstrate their importance. And they imitate their peers so that they become a part of the group and therefore achieve social security. Among the characteristics of childhood is also the large number of questions, as the child begins his life as an explorer of the world, and direct questions are among the best methods for the child to get to know the world around him, and therefore develop his abilities and experiences. Other characteristics of childhood include the love of competition, high temper, imaginative thinking, and the acquisition of skills. Bit to remember: parents' understanding to the characteristics of childhood is the first step in understanding and solving the problems that their children suffer from. There's a question that often goes in the minds of parents, which is, how can I develop my child's personality? And in order for them to do so, there are a set of rules that help in this regard. The first of these rules is to train the child to have a goal or message, no matter how small it is, according to the adult standards. This has a great impact on the child's psychology, so the child grows up with his goals and messages. It's worth noting here that parents shouldn't set ideal goals for their children, as this is a common educational mistake, as when a child can't achieve this goal, he feels that he's a loser, and therefore this reduces the child's self-confidence and makes him reluctant to achieve and give. As for the second rule, it's that fathers and mothers must reward their children for all their attempts to achieve their goals, as at this stage, success is not the goal in itself, but the child must understand the true meaning of the attempt, which in turn will develop his self-confidence and make him a stronger person. Also, one of the important rules for developing the child's personality is not describing the child with negative language and not to confuse between the child's act and the child himself. For example, if the child does a wrong act such as lying, then we must tell him that we love him, but we don't like the action that he did, which is lying. In addition, fathers and mothers shouldn't overprotect the child and cuddle him, as by doing so, they grow up a weak person, unable to deal with life's problems and pressures, which may later lead to psychological problems such as isolation and depression. Bit to remember: one of the most important methods of developing children's personality, setting goals for the child, rewarding him for his attempts to achieve this goal. Don't confuse between the self and the action. Don't coddle your child too much. There are many methods that enable parents to play a major and important role in developing and improving the intelligence of their children. The first of these methods is to let the child play freely, especially play group, as many psychological studies have indicated the importance of this type of playing in developing and enriching the child's personality and sharpening his personal and social skills. And the contact with other children helps the child in acquiring new and diverse behaviors that are added to his knowledge. Also, storytelling is one of the most important methods of developing children's intelligence, as it paves the way and helps to develop their imagination, especially when they are between the ages of 4 and 5. as at this stage they move from the dependence on their parents to self-reliance, and these stories help in expanding their perceptions and linking their present with their past. It also prepares the child to receive a lot of information in an entertaining and unboring way. Other methods that help in developing the intelligence are drawing, decoration, and school activities. From drawing and decoration, the child learns accuracy and attention to detail. It also helps in strengthening his ability to focus and helps in developing his creativity. As for school activities, it develops the child's personality and confidence, and teach him courage and skills to deal with others, and therefore raise his academic level. Bit to remember: among the most important methods of developing children's intelligence, playgroup, storytelling, drawing and decoration, and school activities. The psychological development is one of the basic needs of the child, which begins in the first years of his life from his spontaneous dependence and confidence in his family. And any defect in this confidence will result in a negative psychological development of the child, and with the passage of time, the child turns from his dependence on others to independence and self-realization. As the child's self-confidence is generated from training him on the concept of independence, which can be achieved by giving the child the freedom to speak and express what he sees fit and appropriate, and by making him feel that he is competent and able to achieve what deserves to be appreciated and respected. Also, emotional development is very important for the child, as it represents one of the most important aspects of psychological development, as it prepares the child to deal with the ups and downs of life. Hugging and kissing the child by his parents and his family represents a kind of emotional support, and experiences have shown that it's difficult for those who don't receive tenderness when they are young to love others and accept them when they grow up. As the proverb said, "An empty hand has nothing to give." Also, good listening to the child when he speaks or discusses is one of the most important factors that develop the child emotionally and build his emotions, and it's also advisable to ask questions to the child when he finishes his speech, as this act helps to encourage him and develop his various abilities. Likewise, the harmony between the father and the mother plays a big role in building the child emotionally. Laws and standards must be fixed in the house, and parents must not disagree on them, as such differences in what's right or wrong is something that harms the child greatly. Bit to remember: proper psychological and emotional development is one of the most important foundations for growing up confident generations. Thanks for watching. Please follow our social media accounts. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel.